Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today's bake day for our croissant loaf, our stand mixer croissant loaf. And as you can see, I have my slings out, and I'm also using the air fryer liners for these. I wouldn't suggest using them for a full-size loaf because they're not really big enough for those. Even the biggest air fryer liners aren't big enough for your full-size loaves. So just use a full sheet of parchment. And I have my oven preheated to 500 degrees. I'm going to do a light decorative score and an expansion score, which I've been trying to work on. I will put this in my cold Dutch oven on top of pie weights. You don't have to use pie weights if you don't want a light crust. If you want a thicker, heavier crust on the bottom, don't use the pie weights. I spritz the top of my boules, just like a half a spray, and just to give them some moisture. I cover them and put them in the oven. I turn my oven down to 450 degrees. Remember, it's at 500 right now. But once I get my boules in there, I turn the oven down. I can fit 2 of my Dutch ovens in my oven, so I'm using both, but only one has a cover. I'm using aluminum foil on that one. So, put it in there, turn it down to 450 degrees. Set your timer for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, you're going to take the lids off, and they'll be very light. They won't have any color on them whatsoever, which you can see here. But you can see that they've expanded a little. And you're going to put them back in the oven for an additional 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, you'll take them out. You'll want to temp them and make sure that they are between 200 and 210 degrees Fahrenheit. If they're not, just put them back in the oven for a couple of minutes at a crack until they reach at least 200 degrees. Once you're done, you're going to remove them. Now, these particular loaves, I let cool on the parchment paper on top of a cooling rack, just because I don't want the mess. I'm trying to save myself from having a huge buttery cleanup, if that makes sense. These, like I said, these are croissant loaves. There's butter mixed throughout, and I don't know if you can tell there, but you can see how light the bottom is, that's for sure. But the bottom is also buttery, so you want to keep that in mind when you're taking out your loaf. And you'll see here the difference between using pie weights and not using pie weights. See how dark that is? And it's not a bad thing. I mean, I personally think that's very delicious. But when it comes to toasting my bread later, I prefer a very light crust because I like to get it a little bit darker in the toaster, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird, an oxymoron almost. But anyway, you'll want to let this cool for at least an hour. Do not cut into your bread because it's going to continue to bake and relax and do its thing in the 1 hour that it takes to cool off. Okay? Now you see me prepping my third bowl, but I'm not going to show you the results of that one. I'm sorry, I was having a brain fart. Ugh. Anyway, once your bread is cooled, use a serrated knife and cut into it and look at it. Examine what the crumb looks like. I cut into mine. And it was a hot mess, I'll say that much. not because it wasn't done enough or anything like that. There was nothing wrong with the bread itself. It was because I was not using a sharp enough knife. I had a serrated knife, but it wasn't the knife that I normally would use for sourdough. And typically you want a super sharp knife. And there's a chefy tip. If you are cutting on your cutting board and it's slipping around, put a damp piece of paper towel underneath it, or a damp tea towel, kitchen towel, whatever. It'll keep it from slipping around. Now you can see the crumb. I put a hole in my bread. I didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident. But it's so good. It's so delicious. I can't even explain. I mean, there are no words to explain how delicious and buttery it is. I mean, you don't even have to put extra butter on it because you can, don't get me wrong, but to me it doesn't need it. So, that is your stand mixer croissant loaf, and I hope you all enjoy it as much as I do. I swore I would never make another regular sourdough loaf, but I have. But anyways, you all have a lovely, lovely rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.